It's 2007, and you're at the electronics department in Walmart. Your mom told you to pick out a new pair of dark blue bootcut jeans, and you instead play the demo PS3 for the last 20 minutes while your entire family searches the store for you because you don't have a phone to keep the government from finding out how many Beanie Babies you own. The longer it takes for them to find you, the more late you'll be to the chicken barbecue dinner in the middle of a parking lot for some reason. Once they find you, there'll be heck to pay, but you just played MotorStorm for the first time, and nothing can take your eyes off the screen. Yeah! Trucks! Cars! Driving! Crashes! Slow motion! This is art! I'm not usually one for racing games unless it has the words kart and Mario somewhere in the title. But MotorStorm on the PS3 was the greatest exception. I cannot tell you how many times my brother and I played the demo and stood in awe of the graphics and physics. It was like watching a chunky squirrel steal a tuna fish sandwich. You just can't look away. For all of its beauty and inherent appeal, there were so many quirks that I didn't pick up on until years later. As soon as you boot up the game, you'll notice it asks for your language. Well, get used to that! Because its short-term memory loss will force this question on you every time you play it, which is particularly frustrating for those of us who have a hard time remembering the name of the language we speak. Is it this one? The main menu is pretty barren, which is good in that it sufficiently corrals you where you need to go, but you'll soon notice something very important is missing from this racing title. You'd think a free-play, pick-your-race mode would be under recreation, but that's only populated with the time trial mode that was added in a free DLC. The lack of free play really keeps you on a leash when you just want to jump into a specific track and a specific vehicle type when you haven't beaten the whole game. I don't want to say it's a crime against humanity, but I will say it's a crime against the pig gamer community. Jumping into a game requires sifting through tickets. These events are organized by levels, which are the closest things to a difficulty setting, and are kind of arbitrarily categorized. There are technically different modes in these races, but most of them feel the same. Drive more faster than the other drivers driving around you driving. There's not much feeling of progression as maps are repeated and the mode rotation is pretty random. But all of these little irritants go out the window when you hear the starting horns. Perfect, that's what I was going for. The graphics, even by today's standards, are actually passable, but it's the collision physics that keep you glued to the monitor. The massive pile-ups when all the racers are funneled together at the beginning are a beautiful sight that is a challenge to avoid. Sometimes you don't even want to avoid it. Everything has weight to it, and much of the track is destructible. The gravity feels a little closer to Pluto's than Earth's, but I'll take it over Jupiter's gravity, am I right? The AI is what really impressed me upon replaying it. They actually drive like real players with both aggression and imperfections. They'll ram you into the side of a rock and then overshoot a turn and fall off a bridge. This makes every race feel like a true challenge where they don't just rubber band like some games and instead provide a real threat in the form of competency. Yuck, right? The backgrounds are also quite enjoyable to soak up. Wow, that crowd is electric. The environment in all the tracks is so uniquely MotorStorm. Whee! One thing that cannot be overlooked is that this PS3 launch title only had 8 tracks. That's it. 8 is less than 9. It's more than 3, but it's half as much than of 16. While there were 4 other tracks available through DLC, these cost money, so we're not even gonna take that into consideration. Remember, this was at a time where there were almost 0 free games out in the ether. Every game was full price and had DLC, bonus maps, tracks, and skins for the cost of a used game at GameStop. It was a disgusting time for your wallet. Microtransactions weren't really a thing yet, and developers wouldn't ordinarily add substantial content in a free update because there was little incentive to do so. Even when I went to Evolution Studios and waved a plate of sautéed chopped carrots seasoned with fresh rosemary in front of their faces yelling, "Give me more tracks and a couple of these carrots will be yours." The only variations in the tracks were when you were forced to use different vehicles or when the time of day changed. It also doesn't help that some of the tracks look very similar to others. The core gameplay mechanics are so solid though that it feels nitpicky to talk about the extraneous cosmetic gripes. When you start a race after waiting 5 minutes for your vehicle preview to load, come on, just show it to me, come on, the Patriot Renegade sequel better be worth it, come on, there it is. The only thing that matters is gas, brake, boost. When you get into an open straightaway and lay down the nitrous, ooh, let me tell ya, the Roadrunner wouldn't stand a chance. As you continue a race, your car will get more and more dirty. Splashing mud will start covering your expensive paint job, and collisions will wear away the outer panels. There's even a subtle difference in the sound of the engine after you've taken a beating. I wonder if I should put oil in my car. This just makes you want to get into wrecks even more, seeing a tangible result of the chaos. It's like throwing a pot of boiling raspberry jam into a new shag carpet. Okay, it's nothing like that, but you get my point. It's glorious anarchy. Depending on the ticket you select, you'll have to choose a vehicle from 7 different classes, all of which handle very differently. The intent was to force you to take different branches of the tracks depending on your vehicle, but usually it just punishes you for choosing to go through the densest section of mud because it looked so cool and satisfying. Even out of the mud, it's hard to master control, as you can only turn when wheels are firmly on the ground, and the uneven terrain limits that immensely. This adds enough depth to make it a true accomplishment when you do finally get first place, which, you know, can happen now and then. It's a real thing. It's possible in theory. Little things will poke out their nose and confuse the pigs holding the controller, like the lack of vehicle customization, the scarce amount of options in the pause menu, and the tragic absence of split screen. Also, like, the online doesn't work anymore? It's been only, 15 to 20 years since it was released? Come on. Even though there are more than a hoofful of issues, when you get that legendary music blasting at just the right moment, any and every complaint fades away like dirt on a windshield. Oh, aren't you inconsiderate? Lunatics unite. Playing this again was such a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed replaying the same track 11 times to try and get a gold trophy and deleting all of the footage where I didn't win, because that's a healthy way to deal with failure. I stream every Tuesday on Twitch and upload every week except for the weeks that I don't, but we don't talk about those weeks. Yeah, alright, you're super cute, never forget that. Oh, am I? Am I going the wrong way? Sorry about that.